Hi everybody, I'm Carla Ficker and welcome to a very special All Things Growing. I'm here today with two very special people. I'm with Eric Milligan and my good friend Stephanie Adaska, who is our resident chef. And Eric is kind enough to give us a tour of the New Hampshire Mushroom Company.
So as you can see here, all of these, because this species actually takes 80 days to grow from beginning to end. Yeah, this is one of our incubation offices. So when you're starting the cultivating process, you have what we call the mix. That's when we're preparing the substrate, and we sterilize it, and I can show you what all that process is. Okay. Then in a laboratory, we're inoculating the bag with the mushroom species, and we're inoculating it with what's called, we call it spawn, and that's mushroom mycelium that's growing on a rye grain, right on a rye berry. So we use that as a vehicle, almost like a mushroom seed. Instead of like putting spores in, people don't know how you get it to grow into a bag. Gets sealed up, shaked up, and then it sits on a shelf and incubates. When the bags come out of the laboratory, they're going to go onto these shelves that you see, and that's the stage that's called incubating. To give you an idea of how quickly this grows, all right, so here's a blue oyster. This just came out of the laboratory yesterday. Okay. So where we talked about spawn, you can actually see a little bit of spawn just in the bag. See how there's just a little piece here, there's a little piece here. Tomorrow, that is going to look a little bit like this. It's puffed up. Inside of this bag, the level of CO2 that's being produced by the mushroom species is probably around 25,000 to 50,000 parts per million.
Holy mackerel.
And this patch allows for the respiration of that CO2. But at any given time, we have 7,000 bags incubating, which is why you see all of these plants.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
It's form and function. They look good, and we're actually using the plants to scrub our air in here naturally. Some people had told me, I haven't done the research myself, that 3 of these palms will produce enough oxygen for a person to breathe a day. These are the ones that NASA was doing studies on for long-term Mars missions. And that mushroom right there will be ready to pick in the morning. What this is that's reishi antlers.
What?
So the reishi mushroom, Ganoderma lucidum, if anyone's had reishi tea before, grows sort of a half dinner plate, like a conch. Out in the wild, you might have seen a bunch of grows like conch. Under high CO2 situations, it'll just be the stem that grows. So we just picked 100 of these where it was just stems growing, because studies are showing that a lot of the medicinal benefits in it are located in the base of the stem. So we're growing just the stems. Fruiting the mushroom, because it's a wood decomposer, it's growing from a tree. You can see that we've taken the bag and rolled it, gotten the air out of it, and then we made an X. Essentially what the X is the wound in the bark of a tree.
Where the mushroom is going to grow. Which is what you were talking about earlier, where you can design where it goes.
Right, so where I made the X, now the mycelium is exposed to oxygen. Said, oh, here's a wound in the bark of the tree. This is where I'm going to grow from. And you can see the little tiny oyster mushrooms that are just starting to come out. So to give you an idea of how quickly that this will grow, tomorrow, this right here, is going to look like that. Somebody else's name. I would just call it a Grosby agarita, but it's hard to market.
Because it's a Grosby, of course.
So in a few days, in theory, right now, because we're right at the start of it, that will look like this.
Oh wow, what a change.
Wow. Look at that.
How cute. They look like toasted marshmallows.
And apparently they're very, very tasty. But I haven't eaten them yet, because I was going to pick that later on today and try it. Hericium arenaceus, but there's Hericium coralloides, there's Hericium, a couple of the names have changed, Americanum, Rasmosum. This one's not as common around here as coralloides, but it does grow around here. Grows in the fall, grows on a lot of beech trees, but it can grow on a bunch of different trees. Out in the wild around here, it'll have these long icicles that hang down. We pick it before that stage.
Because?
One, because of the meat quality of the mushroom, texture-wise. This species has the texture of lobster meat. So we sell a lot of it to seafood restaurants.
And it grows wild around here?
Yeah, it grows wild around here. This room right here is the blue oyster and elm oyster room. You can determine the color of the mushroom. The colder it is, the darker blue it gets.
See that, Bob? These are blue oysters.
Blue oysters, yep.
Awesome. Awesome. And how old is this one?
This went into the grow room last Monday. This will be ready this afternoon. A lot about mushroom growing is minimizing your mistakes. I mean, the mere fact that we have mushrooms growing at all is absolutely astounding, in my eyes.
Yeah. This has been amazing. I walked in here thinking this was going to be a pretty easy tour, and oh yeah, and there are the mushrooms, and then there's the blue box that it comes in the supermarket. It's been fascinating. Well, our next show is going to be with Miss Stephanie here, and she's going to be doing some cooking with this young man.
Speaking of innovation, we're going to get innovative in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And you're going to bring a couple different species of mushrooms.
Sure.
And
we
we'll have fun in the
with
kitchen, yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to bring all of the species that we grow have different flavors, textures, different profiles, and a lot of different dishes they can be utilized for. So maybe we'll try a few things, and I'm sure they'll taste good.
I think
Hi everybody, I'm Carla Ficker, and we are here again doing another winter series, All Things Growing, which is all things cooking, right? And I'm here with Stephanie Adaska from the Taste of the Mountain Cooking School up at the Bernhof, and Eric Milligan.
got it right.
I got it right. From New Hampshire Mushroom Company. He is the co-owner of New Hampshire Mushroom Company in Tamworth, New Hampshire. Eric is also going to be one of the presenting chefs at the Meet the Chefs cooking series at the Home Garden Flower Show in May at the Freiburg Fairgrounds. I had to get that in, yeah. And anyways, he has brought some of his mushrooms, and Stephanie and Eric are going to prepare 3 dishes today. I'll say the first one, but I'll leave the rest for you. It's Tom Kha Gai with assorted mushrooms.
That's correct.
Right? And it smells wonderful, and I shall leave you guys to have fun, and I'll be around for samples.
Of course you will.
Okay.
As always, we like
know.
samples in this place. Well, thanks for joining us here at A Taste of the Mountains Cooking School, and tell us about some of the mushrooms we're going to be using today.
Sure. We brought 6 species today. We have oysters on the far side, and then king oysters down here at the bottom. And then these 2 clumps here are the blue oyster mushroom, elm mushrooms here, chestnuts, and then one we'll be cooking with later as well is the bear's head or lion's mane mushroom.
Excellent, thanks. The first recipe we're going to work on today is Tom Kha Gai, which is a Vietnamese soup. It's basically a spicy chicken soup, and we're going to use an assortment of mushrooms for that. But in the meantime, let me show you what I've started on the back end here on the stove. What we have here on the stove in this pan is we have chicken stock that I've reduced. Once I reduced it by half of its liquid amount content, we put in some lemongrass, galangal, Thai bird chilies, and kefir lime leaves. The kefir lime leaves are found at Asian markets, as well as the galangal, which is in the ginger family. It's actually kind of a hot peppery ginger flavor. If you can't find galangal at the local market, which in most cases you can't, up here at least in Mount Washington Valley, you can substitute ginger for that. And so we have that for about 20 minutes. We've had those herbs and spices infused into the chicken broth. And here we have coconut milk. I have 1 can of coconut milk here, and over here I have some chicken, and I've sauteed. I used chicken thigh meat. That's my favorite. It's got a little bit more flavor and a little bit fat to it, and I've just chopped it up into small pieces, and I sauteed it in a little bit of peanut oil. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the assorted mushrooms that Eric has so generously brought to our kitchen. And I have it at about a medium-high heat. There goes the chestnuts. And then the beautiful oyster mushrooms. And we're just going to get the mushrooms sauteed lightly to soften them up a little bit. And I'm going to stir that around. The chicken I just cooked ahead of time, just to save us a little time. And once the mushrooms start wilting a little bit, I'm going to add it to the coconut milk mixture. So that's going to take just a moment to soften up. And what I'm going to do here is the chicken broth that's been infused with the flavors, again with the lemongrass, the galangal, the Thai bird chilies, and the kefir lime leaves. I'm going to strain that into the coconut milk. These items here, you don't want to eat them whole because this is the lemongrass, and if you ever cook with lemongrass, it's a very sinewy, woody, doesn't have a great texture. It's not very palatable to chew on it, but it infuses wonderful flavor into your dishes, primarily used for Asian cuisine. And I'm just going to mix up the coconut milk and chicken broth and saute up these mushrooms just to soften them up just a touch. So once your mushrooms have softened, you're going to add this mixture into the coconut milk and the chicken broth mixture. And one thing that's very important is you don't want your coconut milk mixture to come to a boil because it will curdle. So you keep the temperature at a simmer, which is about between 165 to 180 degrees, 180 degrees. And we're going to finish off the soup over here. Going to finish off the soup. We have Vietnamese fish sauce, which is essentially a concentrated mixture of dried fish. Usually they use shrimp, dried shrimp or anchovy, and it's with water. It's a very nasty smelling liquid that you can get at the Vietnamese store, but it adds a beautiful flavor to Vietnamese cuisine as well as Thai cuisine. And so we're going to add, I would say about 3 tablespoons. Then we're going to add into this some fresh lime juice, which is also frequently used in Asian cuisine. And that's just going to add a little acidity and a little tartness to the dish. I would say about 1 lime. And we're going to stir that up. We're going to add some fresh cilantro. Cilantro is also commonly used in Asian cuisine, Vietnamese as well as Thai. And it makes a beautiful dish. And then I'm going to place it here in our bowl. And everything's nice and fresh. Beautiful mushrooms. We're going to put them as the highlight of the dish here. Top it off. And then we're going to garnish it with very thin slices, a chiffonade of the Thai bird chili, which is going to add a little spice and heat to this dish. So putting it together, this dish takes literally about prepping time about 5 minutes and cook time's about a total of 20 minutes. Very easy. So enjoy. Okay, so we are back, and Eric is going to show me a dish with the lion's mane mushroom. So take it away, my friend.
Sure.
Tell us what we got going in here.
Okay, with lion's mane mushroom, sometimes people are kind of intimidated by it. One, they may never have seen it before. It does grow wild around the White Mountains. We pick it every fall. This dish is very, very simple and was actually put together by Kathy Babbitt, one of the owners of the farm. And what she simply does is wanted to, amplify the natural flavor of the mushroom by putting things that everyone's going to like. It takes just a few minutes to put together. When preparing this mushroom for this, what we do is we kind of tear it into chunks. It has a texture of lobster meat or different shellfish, and we got kind of thinking about escargot and that sort of thing, or vegetarian escargot. Ooh. So simply we just tear the mushroom into chunks and put it into a bowl.
Okay?
It's fine. Yep, that's great.
I went to culinary school for that.
What's great about this dish is that all of it can be put into one bowl, stirred together, put into a casserole dish, put into the oven, 30 minutes, it's done.
Rock on. So we have our oven set to 350 degrees, and we have our lion's mane mushrooms here. We have some spinach. We have some shaved Gruyere cheese, which is in the Swiss cheese family. We have some minced garlic, melted butter, olive oil, and salt and pepper. So where do you want to start?
Let's start just by throwing in the butter and the garlic in with the mushrooms with a little olive oil.
Do you want it all?
Yeah.
Right in here?
Yeah.
All right. See, I'm usually the person telling people what to do. Yeah. So for a change, someone else is telling me.
And it's adding a little bit more than what you might think is enough, but the mushroom absorbs a lot of that, and you want to bake it all the way through that mushroom so that flavor is in there. Next, we'll throw the garlic in.
Get every last drop of goodness there.
And then a handful of the spinach.
More?
That'll probably be good. And then just stir it all together.
Do we need salt and pepper, or do you season it at this point? Or?
Yeah, just I get it a little bit incorporated first,
Okay.
so the olive oil and the butter can get around the mushroom itself.
Got it.
And then a little pinch of salt. You can always add a little bit at the end if you wanted. Salt's also going to draw a little of that moisture out of the mushroom itself. Pinch of pepper.
Perfect. I use my fingers.
You might want to do that. Go ahead on that.
I'm dying to. If people who know the way that I cook, I like to get my hands dirty. And I also think it helps, don't worry, they're clean. It helps really incorporate the ingredients throughout your entire dish, and it just mixes things better. So
and
there we go.
Just a little bit more olive oil probably.
Okay. Excellent. Am I doing okay as a sous chef?
That's good. It's great.
Okay. So.
Next up is the casserole.
That's
dish.
it?
That is it.
In there?
Everything goes in.
Again, I'm using my fingers. These lines, they're so soft and mushy and squishy. They're like marshmallows. I love them. They're beautiful, and they taste fantastic.
Yeah, it's a fairly mild mushroom, so it's going to take a lot of the flavor of whatever you're cooking with it. So butter, olive oil, garlic, spinach, you really can't go wrong.
Excellent. Now this will shrink up a little bit, right?
Yeah, a lot.
Okay, so we're gonna mash it. I want to be gentle with them, but I don't want to waste it. All right, and then we're gonna top it with some cheese, right? Yep. Might as well use it all. Grab my towel. You will do the honors of the cheese, since my hands are all messy already. Did you wash your hands, boss?
My hands are clean.
Whew, thank goodness.
Yesterday. No, my hands are clean.
Yesterday. You're funny. All right.
Now, it might look like we're putting an awful lot in this. You got to think that mushrooms are a large part water. So the dish is going to shrink down some.
And how long does this cook for?
That's a pretty good question.
Till it's done.
Till it's done.
Exactly. That means we're going to put this in the oven, 350 degrees, and we'll keep a track of how long it takes, roughly, to give you a rough time frame. But when you're cooking items like this, sometimes you just got to know when it's done, and we'll let you know when it's done.
A lot of it's going to depend on, the mushroom cooking down. Cheese will be bubbly, melty.
And how big you've torn the pieces, or how small. So,
exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, we'll be right back. We're going to get this puppy in the oven and see you in a bit. We're going to check out this lovely spinach, lion's mane, garlic, buttery extravaganza in the oven here. And it looks like it's about done. This is, again, 350 degrees. I would say it took about 30 to 35 minutes. The cheese is melted on top. We're gonna place it over here. Looks good, boss. All right, we are back, and we are gonna be cooking up some king oyster mushrooms. What I've done is I've taken the oyster mushrooms and I've cut them lengthwise, and I've cut them about an inch thick. Some of them are maybe about a 3/4 of an inch, a ½ inch thick. And I'm gonna place them in the bowl here. And I'm gonna toss it with a little extra virgin olive oil. This is my favorite Greek extra virgin olive oil. Season it with a little salt and pepper. Toss it around. And then I'm going to bring it over to my grill here. Now before I put the mushrooms on the grill, I'm going to oil my grill grate, which is really important to help the food not stick. So I'm taking a little olive oil here, and I pardon the noise ahead of us. We have a fan going because we don't want to burn the place down, because this is going to smoke up a little bit once I put them on the grill. So I'm oiling the grill grates, and this will help the mushrooms not stick to our grill. Okay. And I'm going to use my fingers just because it's easier. And these are nice and thick, so they're not going to fall through the grates. And once they get hot, they're going to start releasing some of the moisture. I'm also going to brush them a little bit, give them a little extra oil on them as well. And I'll be tossing them once or twice. And these just take a couple minutes to cook. I'm going to flip them over in about 30 seconds or so. I got to be patient. I'm not a very patient person, so you just want to wait. You want to get some nice brown grill marks on the back of the mushrooms. And I have my grill set to about medium-high. And it's hot over here. That's why my face is all red. Has nothing to do with the couple sips of wine I had earlier.
Yeah.
Look at those beautiful grill marks on it. I'm actually going to turn it down a little bit. Now, if you don't have a grill in your home or you don't have access to a grill in the wintertime, you can certainly roast these in the oven. I would put them about 375 degrees. Make sure, you toss them with the olive oil, a little seasoned with salt and pepper. You can certainly do a little garlic if you prefer a little garlic taste, but I think I like the simplicity of this dish because it has really few components to it. And the flavors are impeccable, and you really want to taste the mushroom through it. Also, the grilled ciabatta bread that we're going to be using is also going to have some garlic flavor infused. See how nice they're getting nice and brown? This one's a little thick. Put it aside. So, while those are cooking, I'm going to take my grilled ciabatta bread. You can get this at the local grocery store or your local bakery. Just brush it with a little olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. Place it on your grill. Brush it with the olive oil, place it face down on your grill. I just want to check my mushrooms real quick, make sure I'm not burning anything. Getting a nice char grill on them. And they're starting to release some moisture, which is going to help soften them up a little bit and actually help in the cooking process. They're also shrinking up a little bit, which is very natural for mushrooms to do so because they are high content water. My mushroom man over there is very quiet. Eric, do you have anything to say? Any comments, suggestions?
I think it looks great. You're doing a great job.
All right.
Actually, the first time that I've seen grilled king oyster mushrooms, and I think grilling king oysters is great because it's the density of the mushroom that can hold up to grilling. When people think of mushrooms holding up to actual grilling process, it's one of the species that can really do that.
Now I want to keep an eye on the ciabatta bread so I don't burn that. It's got a nice little coloration going on here. Now I'm going to put these mushrooms back in the bowl and let them finish cooking as I'm watching my ciabatta bread. So I don't want to overcook them. I want to have a little texture left in here. And as you see, it just takes a matter of minutes to do this up to this point. So now we take our bread. I flipped it over just to add a little heat on the back side. And then what we're going to do is once these are done, we're going to rub them with a simple peeled clove of garlic. Don't have to mince it or anything. We just kind of smashed it to release some of the oils, and we're going to rub it on the bread, season it with salt and pepper, and then we're going to put our mushrooms on top. So how we do that is take a clove of garlic. Again, it's just peeled and it's crushed, and we're just going to rub it. And that's going to release the oils onto the hot bread. And it's kind of falling apart as I do that, and that's okay. A little salt. Then I'm going to top it with these mushrooms. It's going to go that way. You could certainly chop these up if you'd like. Might make it easier to eat. But we're going rustic style here at the Taste of the Mountains Cooking School. Eric is a rustic farmer kind of guy, so he likes it that way. Right, Eric?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. A sprinkling of parsley. Once you're done, give it a little color, give it a little fresh flavor. This is a flat leaf Italian parsley. Top it off with a little drizzle of olive oil to add a little bit more moisture. You don't have to do that if you're looking to avoid extra fat. Season it, salt, pepper. Eric, come on over here. Get in the view of the camera. I don't know if you can see us here, but I don't know. Pick one that looks good. Here, this one looks good. You want to take this one, my friend?
Sure.
It's nice and hot. It smells good. Cheers. Thanks for coming on to the show here today.
Thank you very much.
And we're going to have Carla come back and bid us a farewell. Can I sprinkle now? And then we're going to sprinkle with some fresh parsley. And we have some bread, croutons over there. Eric, you want to do the honors?
Yeah, so if you just have some bread that's toasted up, and we're going to dig in. You can see how some of that moisture has come out of the mushrooms, mix it with the olive oil and the butter. Get some of the cheese on there. You can see how the piece is reduced. Put that right on the bread. Carla, you want to try? It's hot.
I'm back.
Just in time.
Wow, that looks amazing here.
That does, thank you.
Yeah, it's very hot. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll grab one of those for you. There you go, Stephanie.
Thank you, my dear.
Okay.
We'll get one going here.
Hey, Bob, can you come out from around the camera?
You know you want to. This
know
looks
you want
really
to,
good.
yeah.
Now you're being mean.
I know. It's good. Chuck?
We're offering your
This
food.
is Stephanie's significant other.
I'll be there.
Oh,
There you go. There you go, Chuck.
there you go, darling.
Okay, we'll get one for you, Bob. Oh, and most importantly.
The most important part of the show, aside from the mushrooms, of
Of
course,
course, yes.
is the grape juice.
Perfect. The grape juice, yes.
Bob, there you go.
Thank you.
Okay. Bob, you have to come over here. Come on.
Does Bob have a glass of grape juice?
He does.
Yes, it's right here.
Yeah. That's somebody's glass of grapefruit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bob doesn't want to get in front of
He
the camera
doesn't
today.
want to be
He's
in
being
front
camera
of the
shy.
camera. Well, this is the best part of the job.
Of course.
This is wonderful. And as always with you, Stephanie, it's so educational because there are so many things that you learn that I never knew how to use lemongrass before. I never knew about that awful smelling fish sauce.
It is awful smelling, but it's
it's
such
really,
a great flavor.
It really does.
It really
it's
is.
Excellent.
Well, you'll have to take one of my Asian cooking classes.
I will
have
definitely
a Taste of
do
Asia
that.
coming up, I believe, in April. My last class filled up really quickly, and so I'm doing another one. I'm changing the menu up a little bit, but I do have the Taste of Asia.
Okay.
And maybe
You've got so many great classes,
We
though.
do.
Yeah,
We do.
Really awesome. And Eric,
Yes.
you are just amazing. We're going to see you again at the show.
Yes.
You're going to be cooking and meet the chefs, and you're also going to be selling. You're going to be retailing
Yes.
your mushrooms. Good.
Yep.
That's
So
great.
if you want to be able to buy some of these mushrooms, we'll be selling them as well
Yeah.
there, along with our soil amendment
That's
that
right,
we're
too.
using
Yeah,
for.
yeah.
We're getting into a line with our waste product.
Excellent.
Which is basically a top load for your flowers. It's very, very nutrient rich, and you'll get some amazing results. We'll have that available as well.
Good.
What a
good.
great
We're-
idea.
We're all about that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we'll get a
I'm
little
sorry
bit
that
more
I
into
won't
this.
be there. I'll be in Mexico
know.
on the beach.
She'll be
I
in
know.
Mexico.
Yes, I have a
Oh,
wedding to
boo.
go to,
Yeah.
so unfortunately
Yeah.
I will be.
Oh,
Do you know what
gee.
you're cooking yet?
Well, where the theme of the whole show is eating for a healthy lifestyle. When thinking about healthy lifestyle eating, mushrooms really come into play. So we'll be doing 3 preparations of basically sautéed mushrooms. It'll be one with a mix of oysters that are with vegetables, one the king oysters but with a light cream sauce, and the third will be a chestnut and lion's mane curry. All of those toppings will be put onto flatbreads, but they can be used for any number of dishes. So kind of really give a person an idea of what they can use with this versatility
Right,
of
and just
mushrooms.
open
Yeah,
that up
just
for
open
them.
up their
Yeah.
eyes to that.
Excellent.
So.
Beautiful.
And again, Eric's mushrooms, his New Hampshire mushrooms, are served all over the valley. They're actually all over every place. You know, Black Cap Grill, who's one of our presenting sponsors,
Yep.
will also one that carries them. Local Grocers, another one. There's a whole bunch of places around here. So, so cheers.
We let it cool off enough
Yeah.
now that we can.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yes,
thank
do
you
your
so
job.
much.
I'm toasting
Thank
my
you.
food and not my wine. Cheers, Chuck.
Cheers.
Stephanie,
Cheers.
eyes on. Yeah.
Yes.
Chuck, eyes
Very
on.
nice.
Yeah.
Take care.
Bob,
Bob, we love you.
thank you.
Behind the
Another great
camera.
show. Thank you, dear.
Take care.
Bye. That's it for All Things Growing. See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.